Welcome to the Matty Rocks experience and On the Road with Matty Rocks, live on location in Anaheim, California, joined with the beautiful, the talented Miss Melanie Taylor.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
I absolutely did not think that we would be putting together an interview so fast, this quick.
We did.
But what a great opportunity
We are professionals.
We are. Melanie, if you would, walk us through 2012 and some of the highlights that you ended the year with to go into 2013.
Okay, that's a great question. Because 2012 for me was a lot about getting myself ready for performing to a much larger audience and being able to feel like I could go out there and be like that next like Beyonce or J-Lo or whatever, who are people that I like really look up to. And so some of the highlights were like the first huge show that I did with my dancers and like a live band and everything was at the Key Club in May, and that was kind of the biggest time where it all came together, like the music that we had recorded fit together and was like fully realized, with the dancers. And then I just kind of continued to gig a lot in LA and get my confidence up, be more confident on stage and comfortable and connect with people, because I've done show choir and musical theater my entire life, but it's a different world doing like your own music and really just being like a real person. So that was kind of the biggest thing about 2012.
Melanie, if you would, give Matty Rocks listeners an insight to who you are and taking us back to the early years of your life in San Diego, California, and how music and singing came into your life.
Okay. Who I am as a person is very spontaneous, I think, and I'm generally like a happy person. People usually like tell me that, I'm just kind of like, I have a good vibe, whatever that means, and so I take that, I really take pride in that, because I hope that through my music I can also kind of like extend that joy to people. That's why I do this. And so growing up in San Diego is just, everyone's kind of like that. Everyone's sort of laid back. Nothing's like super serious. And so even some of my songs have that energy. Like I have a song called Whatever. And I think that, in life, sometimes people take their lives too seriously, and we just need to like relax and know that it's all perfect, and to just go after, like, as long as you're doing what makes you the most happy, then it's going to be okay, I have always, I think that I was just supposed to do this. I would tell my mom, like, la la, like, whatever, that she knew that I meant music, so I kind of loved, had a affiliation with music before I could even speak, and then I just always did, like show choir and musical theater. I was kind of like one of those Glee kids that you see. Yes. I was really into it, and it just has never left me. I just luckily have had really supportive parents and really supportive friends that believed in me and were like, yeah, do this. Don't be like something that's going to be like a secure job. Like, you can do what you love. Right. Yeah.
And I think early on, I think you knew from an early age that this was what you were meant to do, because riding in the passenger seat of the car with your mom.
Yeah.
And
you read that. Okay, great. It's embarrassing.
Melanie would put her head out the window and let the air kind of take her hair and flowing, and you would sing.
I would.
But your mom was always your biggest supporter.
She's always my biggest supporter. Yes. I'm flattered that you read that about me. Yeah, I would, when I was like really young, I was like a dog, like would like put my head out the window, because I didn't want her to hear me like write my songs. But then when I felt confident enough to like hear like or have her listen to the lyrics or melody that I put together, I would like sing for her, and she's always so supportive of that, and still is.
Growing up, who were some of your musical influences who helped shape who Melanie Taylor was early on and is today?
The first names that come to mind are Michael Jackson, for sure. I think when I saw that ride at Disneyland, I don't know if you remember that, like, it was like Captain EO, and basically he transforms the evil queen into a beautiful princess or something, like, through music. And I know it sounds like really, like I really went deep into this, but looking back at it, I think I thought in that moment, like, wow, music can really change people, from like this evil to good or something. So I thought, especially because that's what he did, had such an influence and impact on people. And, like Man in the Mirror, and he made like some really big statement songs. I think I thought, like, you know, as a musician, I can not only, like, do what I love and sing, but I can really change people's perspective, too. So he was huge, you know, Mariah Carey, Whitney Houston, all the great vocalists I took a lot from.
I'm going to take you back to the high school years.
Okay.
Early on in high school, there was a performance that you did on stage, and you had a defining moment at that point in time where you knew that, yeah, you knew younger that this is what you want to do, but there was that moment in high school that you knew that this is what you really wanted to do. I want you to walk us through that defining moment that you had on stage and take us through what it meant to you.
Yeah, that was my junior or senior year probably of high school, and like I said, I was very had found my passion at that point with show choir. And so we were doing like competitive competitions every weekend or something in Southern California. And I think I was like the dance captain, right? So I don't know if I put myself in the middle or like it was choreographed that way, but I was like in the middle of this song, and you know, everyone was kind of like around me or whatever. And it was just this moment, yeah, where I like saw the judges and we were doing some dance move, and it was kind of like all the energy was up and the crowd was like going crazy, and I was like, oh, I feel like I got like a voice, like this is what you're supposed to do. So from that moment I was just like hooked, nothing else.
The defining moment.
It was the defining moment, yeah.
It is. Finding your voice and emerging as an artist, is it difficult to know what style you want to lean towards and take on?
Yeah, definitely, because some of my other influences growing up were like No Doubt and kind of like Avril Lavigne, and I think I think it changes as you grow up too. And so when I was younger, like I was kind of doing this more like rock pop thing and kind of like this angry girl kind of stuff. And maybe it was just me like expressing myself and going through my emotions of relationships at that time. But yeah, like as I kind of matured and found my voice more, I realized like, you know, I love pop music and I love to dance. So some of it too was just giving myself permission to like have fun with that and express myself that way and let like my quirky personality come out in songs, and that's okay because that's who I am. So
someone who has never heard Melanie Taylor's music and hears it for the first time, what style do you label it?
I label it pop music. I feel like that's the most general way to say it, but it's also I think a mix between, this is gonna sound weird, but like pop dance and kind of like reggae. Like there's some reggae like undertones, I think, just because I'm from Southern California, so I have that like, I like to sort of dabble in that style a little bit. And I think Bruno Mars and Rihanna, like they've started to do that kind of same stuff too, and then also do dance. So it's cool, but yeah, I would say overall I'm kind of like a mix between Pink and Rihanna, and maybe a little like Demi Lovato is probably like how people could probably maybe pin me. But I think if you see me perform, it's there. I set myself apart by the performances that I do. So yeah.
Melanie, you have a book of songs. Give listeners an insight to what this book is and what it means to you.
Yeah, when I first started writing at all, I had gotten this journal from maybe somebody, and it was just like it has like music notes on it, and I was like, oh great, this is perfect. I'll write my like first song in here. And then that one song called Freak Out like kind of led to all the other songs and producers and people that I worked with in the album that I have now. And so I just kept writing songs, like all the songs that I was working on are in that book. So it's cool because it kind of tells like the story of like my path in this whole industry as well as being the songs. So I like look at it and it's almost like reading like a storybook or like a history book of my like last 3 years in this industry. So it's really special to me.
What would happen if that book of songs disappeared?
I would kill someone. No, I'm just kidding. I would be very depressed and cry. Probably a lot. So I should probably put it in the safe.
Keep it locked up.
Right now it's like, I don't know, next to my bed, but...
We all know where it is.
Yeah. Don't go.
Where do the ideas and inspirations come from that create these amazing songs?
They just come from my life, I think, and I try to think about the things that I have the most sort of like energy on that I want to say, and then go from there. But a lot of times, it depends on how I'm writing. But if there's already a track or like a song that I'm writing to, I a lot of times let this song kind of like speak to me and like, what is this music saying to me, you know, and then relate it to my own life. But you know, I've had times where like I wrote this song Lonely, and I remember I was like dropping my friend back off from the airport, and I was so tired, so maybe it was kind of like delusional or something from getting up so early. But I was coming back like in traffic, and all of a sudden this just melody and like the words just kind of came to me, and I actually started crying, like, because I was like, this is something like I have to write down, and so I just put it in my voice memo. And so it just depends.
Okay. Someone as talented as you with such an amazing, beautiful voice.
Thank you.
What message or advice do you send out to other younger, aspiring singers who may want to take this path?
Well, I think it's a different question, like for what message I want to say to like everyone, and then someone that might want to do this. I think for everyone, but it's kind of the same thing too. Like it's, you know, do what you love to do and stick with that, because we only have this life, you know, we only have like right now. And so if even if you're not making like the money that you would love to make, or, you know, whatever, it's like you won't be happy unless you're really doing it. And I think that's overlooked a lot of times. So I guess that's the overall thing, and then just to be like present and not be so worried about like what's coming next or what's in the past. I have to remind myself that all the time too, but that's, I think, like a really kind of solid thing that I want to say in my music too.
Along with the singing comes the dance moves. Okay, how tough is the choreography end of this or side of this, or is it just, does it come naturally?
Well, I'm not gonna lie, like it's I have to practice a lot. I mean, I think anyone who dances and sings in shows, like it's all about preparation. But that's been my background, like with show choir and musical theater. Dance has also accompanied that throughout my life in training. So I think I mean, I'm a singer first before I'm a dancer, but I do move really well.
Right.
So I pick it up, and I have to attribute a lot of the overall show and how it's come out to the artistic director and choreographer that I've been working with. His name is G. Madison the Fourth, and if you're watching, I love you, G. He works with like Rihanna. I mean, he works with Alicia Keys, and he works all the time basically. So he's really good at knowing not only like, but so like taking that expertise, but then fitting it with like what looks good on my body, and also it's a balance between like, okay, this part you have to actually sing, and it's not about the dance moves, and some parts it is. So it depends on how challenging it is. It's like if it's a more vocal part of the song, then obviously I'm not going to be like jumping around and doing everything. But sometimes, yeah, I like to show it off. So
Do it if you got it.
yeah.
Your debut album, which has already been released to iTunes, how's it doing so far?
I've gotten great feedback about it, so I'm really happy with it. I'm excited to have the physical copies printed and stuff, which has also been exciting to like, you know, approve what the graphics look like. And oh my gosh, like writing my thank yous was like a whole experience in of itself, because it was kind of like took me back to the process of making this album in the first place, and all the beautiful, amazing people that have been a part of it happening. So it was really cool, because it was like, it's, you know, it's awesome to have it be out on iTunes, but it's a different thing when you like see it and you have it in your hands,
Right.
like I did this. So yeah, at the release party, I'm excited to just have it out there to give to people.
Very nice. Give listeners an insight to the hard work that goes into a project like this.
Overall, I mean, I had no idea how much of a process it was going to be, because there's, you know, not only like the recording and the making the songs, which is like the actual product. it's so much about marketing, and then, you know, building your social media fan base that I'm still like building and getting better at. You know, there's the shows themselves, and then all the graphics and the pictures and the things that make the marketing possible. And then, of course, like meeting the right people and getting those people behind you to enhance all of that. So it's a lot. So, you know, you really have to love it. And luckily I do. And I'm like super inspired by it, even if it's like 4 a.m. and we're still like going over like one little word that I have to change in my thank yous or something. But, you know, it's work, but I think that in the end, if you love it, it like pays off.
Right on. Ceasefire, your debut single.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that song, and why was it chosen to be your debut single?
My single, I think it was probably, it was chosen to be my single because it was, I think out of the whole album, the one that means the most to me. It was the first song actually that my producer and I like ever really wrote together. We were going to do kind of like a 5-song EP when I first started working with them, and he was going to reproduce some songs that I already had. And he was like, but you know what, like let's write one together, just so that like, because I was the producer on this EP, like I can say that, you know, we wrote one together. I was like, okay, not really thinking it was going to be a huge deal. And then we wrote this song, Ceasefire, and you know, I had learned at that point a little bit more about writing through him, and about like what a good song is. And so I really put my whole heart and soul into it, used like life experiences of it, and we wrote it together, and was like, wow, what's this song, what's this sound, you know, like let's develop this more. And that's how the album came about. And then even though I love every other song that's on there, and in different ways it's gotten better from that song, it was still like the most, I don't know, energetically like powerful song that I wanted to have people hear first from me. So
also with that debut single, you have a video out for Ceasefire.
For Ceasefire.
How amazing was that to make a video?
It was amazing. It was like a 17-hour shoot that started in around 12 or 1 o'clock, and we did like 3 different locations. But, you know, it was kind of like a guerrilla style making it that a lot of, again, like great people made possible, that I couldn't have done it without them. But like we did this bridge scene like by the LA River, and like where like the trains are. So it was like downtown at like 3 a.m. But I'm in this like white like glamorous dress. Like my makeup artist has just like done everything for me, but we're like under a bridge next to like a bum. We're like, hey. At one point security like even came around and like to see what we were doing, but we actually got approval from them. So we're like, awesome, we're legit. Like,
let's do this.
And then we set like a bunch of trash cans on fire, and it was great. And then I like at one point my makeup artist is like redoing my hair and makeup like in the backseat of a car, you know what I mean? So it was totally guerrilla style, but it was really fun.
Right. Working with a Grammy-nominated producer in Christian Davis,
Right.
Of Sly Doggy Productions. How cool is it to work with a producer with his resume?
Amazing. Like, he has been so great, and I feel like the huge catalyst of why I'm doing this now, because I had worked with a few other producers before I met him, like I said, and it wasn't really until he had sort of a vision for me too that combined like just became like this magical thing that is Melanie Taylor now, or like I'm still becoming, you know? And just, it was just like on a totally different level, because he's been doing this for forever. He used to be an artist as well when he was like 16. So he knows, he's more than like a producer for me. Like, he knows the ins and outs of the business, of the marketing side, being an artist, so he can like relate to me on that level
like
as well. Totally. He's just been a mentor to me, exactly, yeah. And really like taught me about songwriting and about melodies and just harmonies that sound cool, or just even timing in songs, all these little things that unless you had all that experience maybe wouldn't get. So yeah, it's been amazing.
You're nominated for Best Pop Artist and Best Dance Artist in the 2013 Artist Music Awards.
Yeah.
How cool is that to be nominated for those two things?
The AI Music Awards has opened up so many doors for me. Like, I shout out to Mikey J, who's the producer, all the time, because he has just been so supportive and in creating this whole event for artists. It's like, you know, as an independent artist, you know, like I said, all those things that it takes to make our projects come true without like major label investors or whatever, things like pushing it forward all the time can be difficult. But the exposure that he's been giving us and to me and all the artists that I've met has been amazing. I mean, even through this, right? Mm-hmm. It's just been incredible.
If we were to jump into your car right now and take a drive, mm-hmm. what music would we find in your CD player?
I'm really into the new Macklemore Ryan Lewis album that came out. Kind of like, I guess it's hip hop, but I also have like, you know, Adele, and then I have like dance music, and then I have like some reggae. I'm very eclectic. I like to have a big library of songs to inspire me.
What does the future hold for Melanie Taylor?
In my head, or what's actually happening? Because actually I think it's the same question, so let's just say that. I'm talking to some new management right now that's really exciting. I just had a performance recently, and like one of the headliners management and I started talking, and with them on board it would be a lot, like I can see many things happening. But regardless, I'm going to keep doing this until I die, no matter what. So the next thing would be, you know, definitely more bigger performances where people see who I am and hopefully buy my music and the awesome t-shirts that I have now coming out. Nice. I mean, I'm gonna take it to the Grammys, so that's what the future is.
Keep trucking away.
Yeah.
Where can Matty Rocks listeners keep up with everything going on with Melanie Taylor, and including all the beautiful music that you put out?
Yeah, thanks. Well, on iTunes, the album's out right now. It's called All About Today. And then my website is MelanieTaylorOfficial.com. Facebook, Melanie Taylor Music, and then usually like every other handle for everything, like Instagram and Twitter and all that, is MissMTMusic. So I'm everywhere. If you just Google it, I'm on YouTube, and you know, it's usually not that hard to find. So yeah, check it out. I would love to have more followers and subscribers and all that. And we'll be putting out some new cover videos and things that I've been doing and working on YouTube. So
very nice.
Yeah.
Melanie, you have the opportunity to send a message out to Matty Rocks listeners all across the United States and in many different countries around the world. What would you like to say?
Okay, well, this is perfect because I'm actually not going to think about this answer that much, which is my message. I think that personally, I tend to overthink things all the time. And usually you know what it is that you need to do or love to do in your life, whatever just makes you happy. So I think my message is like, don't think about it. Just like do it. If it makes you happy, then that's your kind of confirmation that you're doing the right thing. And I hope that that's sort of the message that my music translates to people and that you get from me as an artist. So yeah, that's it. Pretty simple.
Right. Thanks, Melanie, for taking the time out this evening to sit with me one-on-one for this interview. It was truly an honor to sit with you. Continued success to you going forward.
Thank you.
You've heard it here, Matty Rocks listeners, on the road with Matty Rocks with Miss Melanie Taylor. Thanks again, Melanie.
Thank you. Thank you for listening.
Matty Rocks out.